Good evening, and we're live on Paranormal Path and Things Network in the US. Good evening or good morning to everyone, wherever you are. And tonight I'm going to be speaking to paranormal hauntings. At the moment, I'm speaking to Charlene, and we have somebody joining us in a bit, hopefully. We're just sorting out a tech issue. But yeah. So, how are you doing, Charlene?
I'm all right, thank you. I hope everyone is well in the chat.
Yeah, it takes a while for everyone to join us, so when they
Um,
do, then it takes a while for it to catch up. But when was your first paranormal encounter? How did you first realise that there's something around you which you couldn't really explain?
so I've always had an interest in the paranormal, from watching TV shows, growing up with my mum and stuff. Um, I then, as a teenager, I kind of like had premonitions,
Wow.
of things going to happen. Um, that normally took form in like dreams, or I'd have things come to me, that kind of thing. And I kind of could guess how a situation was going to plan out before it actually did.
Wow.
Um, and then it took more of a turn when my dad died in 2012. Um, I'd experienced things as he was dying in hospital that I still can't explain to this day, and it's not really a great deal that I actually talk about either because I still can't quite grasp my head around exactly what happened. But basically, I'd stopped there the night, and he was calling out, and the bed was shaking, and it was just mental what happened
Oh,
that night. Um, I think part of that was because he wasn't ready to go and he was fighting back, and something had come for him, and he was fighting it. But obviously in the end he kind of accepted that he did need to go. And then I was due to get married in the August
oh,
2012, and he was due to walk me down the aisle, but obviously he died in the March before the April. And he'd kind of said, I don't think to my mum, I don't think I'm going to make Charles' wedding. I don't think I'm going to. He kind of knew that he might not be there by that point because he'd had a diagnosis which wasn't great.
oh gosh.
So he said, I'm going to make it whichever way I can. And I've just sent a message just trying to get on.
Oh, bless her.
um, so we obviously I still went ahead with my wedding, and we had the day, and I'd put a picture in the back of the church of him because I still wanted him part of the day.
Oh,
And it was a day or so after, and my friend sent me a picture and said, "There's orbs on this picture." I mean, at the time, you got to remember that, like, I don't didn't have the knowledge on what I do about orbs now. So, I
oh
mean,
yeah, that's it. We thought it was spirit,
we
didn't we?
we we all
Yeah.
come from we all start off somewhere, don't
I
we?
sorted. I sorted. Yeah, I did. I don't know
But
about you.
obviously I wasn't greatly convinced. But then something kept telling me to look back at this picture, and I'd come back off my honeymoon, and I'd sat down, and I thought, let's have a look at that picture. And I had a look, and I could see like what looked like my dad stood at the back of the church, like waiting for me, because the picture was like of the guests arriving just before I come. So it looked like a man was stood at the altar, like who looked like my dad. Um, and at that point, that was like, whoa.
Oh,
So and then when when it did pass, we had numerous things happen. So like his phone would ring when it was off,
oh wow.
things like that, and it was just it really peaked activity wise at that point.
Oh, bless you.
Um, And then what happened, I'd had a premonition a few months later after my dad died. And I was told that my granddad was going to die actually. And the week that my dad had died, it was going to be the same week. And I got it like it was my grandma coming to me to forewarn me. And she told me what he was going to die of.
Oh my
and
gosh.
how it would go and everything like that. And I can remember at the time thinking that's an horrible thing to think. Right? Why have I thought that? Didn't really say anything to anyone because I thought it's just horrible. Shouldn't be thinking
Yeah.
things like that. It came up to the anniversary of my dad dying. And that week I got a phone call from my grandma and said, I can't wake your granddad up. He's
Oh
he's
God.
unconscious. I said, yeah, you need to ring the ambulance. Grandma, he's got pneumonia. So she did. She rang the ambulance and the ambulance come. And I was there at that point. I'd got there before them. And he took one look at him and they said, what's happened? I said, I think he's got pneumonia. They said, well, what makes you think that? And I said, and I called, I was like, at the time, I can't say, well, actually. So I was just like, just from how he's breathing and this, that, and the other. But yeah, he did. He had pneumonia and he died of double pneumonia.
Oh
But it was
wow.
like something had like pre-warned me. Um, which I know that they say that spirits shouldn't give you bad news, but I think because of the time with my dad, and I think, something needed to pre-warn me of what was coming. So you don't think you can change these things, can you? Regardless of how
No.
much you can try.
I think they might try and warn you if you can deal with it
Mm,
and try and give you a little bit because I was warned about losing my dog and I
yeah.
knew what the message meant and it
hmm
happened and you try
hmm
and think, no, this is rubbish, I'm not I've misread this, but yeah, it's odd how spirit work. Oh, it's so
hmm
sad though, isn't it?
hmm
Really is, but
I think
wow.
Amy's struggling to log on.
Oh gosh.
She's just messaged and said she's struggling to log on. So I don't know if she's in the chat in the background or anything.
No, she's not there. I can't see her because she clicks on the link and then she should be able to put a name in and then join the show. Uh,
Yeah, she's normally all right. She just says that she's struggling.
oh,
Just
nightmare.
don't want to click her. But
Yeah.
if she can't make it, if she can't get on, then we'll be all right.
Oh no, we're not having a good night with technology. She did have Lois join the show, but there's a bit of a tech issue where everything was just like echoing on her phone. So Lois
Mhm.
is actually watching. So yeah, she's had a tech issue. We've got Louisa Brown watching. We've got John Quayle. Hiya, how you doing?
Ah, yeah.
We've got Sarah Roberts. We've got Steve Mulligan,
Ah, yeah.
who spoke to a bit ago. We had a tech issue as well with Steve. Charles Rudd as well. Hiya.
Ah, yeah.
Oh, that's cool. We've got Wayne as well. So
Hi,
hello
Wayne.
everyone. If you got any questions, then just ask them. And yeah, any questions for
I did
Charlie?
share the link on the page, but couldn't obviously share it while we've been live. But hopefully
Yeah.
they'll catch up. So
Oh yeah, that's it. I can try. Or if Lois is watching, if you could share it onto Paranormal Hauntings, that would be great. If anyone's watching to admin it,
yeah,
you're doing it with that as well, isn't it? But
it
yeah.
is.
So you're amazing. You're always out and about. You've been to some awesome locations. You write blogs as well. But how long have you been doing this, going out and about all the time?
So it'll be 8 years.
8 years. Wow.
hmm
Before sort of most
Yeah.
people did it. So it's just amazing how you found the locations.
I don't think people realise that I've been doing it 8 years. I think they think that I'm a fair newbie, but actually no, I have been doing it for 8 years. So I started with going on events, started managing events, and then went on to a private team, private investigating, and then obviously formed my own little baby that I'm now working on. So yeah, it's been feels like a long road.
Yeah.
8 years feels like 80.
Yeah, it's can be quite heavy sometimes, can't it? With
Just
people. Not
it's not
the
the ghost. It's not the
no,
ghost.
it's people, but you're sort of going out to these places and they're out in the middle of nowhere, which is quite
Mm,
scary in a way.
mm.
Just for all the
I
like people lurking around and everything.
I think it's harder for a woman.
definitely.
myself, and I don't think women get the credit that they deserve in the field at all, at all. Me and Amy go to the darkest
Yeah, you do.
places some nights that some men won't even go into. So, or they're running
Yeah,
out of, and we're
you do
there, and
fantastic. You're brilliant. You
we're
never get
hearing
lost.
noise. We always get lost.
That's what I love.
I mean, I love the fact that actually I can post on my page and say, tonight we're planning on getting lost. Who's coming to join us? And everybody's like, yeah, yeah, you know,
That's right.
because at the end of the day, you're not guaranteed to have obviously activity every night, and they know that. And
Yeah, that's
they're
right.
some people are just quite happy to be in the midst of things and get lost with you and have a laugh on the
That's
way.
great. Yeah. Well, I've been out at night and I sort of go somewhere, then I'll post a live if I get there. But, I tried to find these little, well, you went, I think, these little caves uh, near Foremark Church, is it that direction? A bit like the, Hermit's Caves, right by a river. I don't know if you know.
Oh,
Hmm.
is it Anchor Church?
Yes. Oh dear. Yeah, I couldn't find that one.
It's like a swamp.
Couldn't find it.
It's
And
like
then
a
it
when
got
you
too dark and we thought it might end up in the river or something.
did you not find it then?
Nope. We just found this woman
Oh.
collecting toads off the road. As you do.
Well, you have to literally go like across a field down a public path,
Yeah,
and then
right down the path.
you go through some woods, but it's really muddy.
Uh,
And then
I'll do it then.
you go to the edge of the river, and it's around the edge of the river. I mean,
Uh,
if it's been heavy rainfall, I probably won't recommend it because it probably is flooded out.
yeah.
Um, probably to better to go in the summer there because it does get really, really boggy, and I can imagine it'd be flooded out.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was kind of summertime when we tried to go, but it just
Mm.
went really wrong, yeah.
Well, don't
But
give up, go back.
oh, yeah. But the sat nav is wonderful, isn't it?
Oh, isn't
It
it
just
just?
takes you around in circles. It really does.
I tell you what, I've Googled some stuff to find,
Yeah.
and like Google just expects me to go through rivers and this, that, and the other. And I mean, I've
Yeah.
actually stamped through a river before to get to the Betty Kenny tree because that's where Google was telling
Ah,
me to go.
this is me. I've done that. I can't find it.
Yeah,
I've
and
walked up a
Google,
river flowing down. There's this river,
yeah,
like water flowing down and it's going up there. And then there's
but I,
like two other locations for it on different people's phones.
yeah, and then takes you into boggy land. I mean, I actually stepped foot into this boggy land, and it went up to my knees. Amy had to get my hands and pull me out
Oh, no,
because,
shocking. Was this on the
but
live?
no, it wasn't
Oh,
actually.
shame.
Thank God.
That'd be a
I,
bit funny.
I had everybody message me like, "Are you all right? Where are you?" I said, "Just took a picture of my legs." I said, "That's where that, yeah."
No way.
But I'll have to send it, yeah, because there is a very clean 8 point that you can go to and walk to it. Now I
Oh,
know where
wow.
it is,
Well,
but
I've tried to go
unfortunately,
from the top, from the bottom, by the youth hostel, everywhere. Uh-uh.
mm, yeah, I'll be able to direct you to it. The only thing is that it's in such a bad state now. It's
Yeah.
because when I
Tree.
first went, it was all protected by the other trees. Um, and you can tell on the footage, it was like a dense forest, and it was
Yeah.
big and it was grand, and it had a real good atmosphere in there. And then when I went the second time, it's just they've not took all them trees down. They just look like dead trees. And then that's obviously then left the Betty Kenny tree open to the elements.
Yeah.
And honestly, it snapped off. I mean, because Ed goes past it riding quite regular, and every time he
Yeah.
takes a picture of it, there's more snapped off it.
Oh, that's
And,
shocking.
we're talking like a 600-year-old tree, and they've just decided
Yeah.
to not protect it. It's really, really sad.
And
It's
all the
been,
history and everything
mm,
associated with it.
mm,
Oh, it's a shame. Yeah, because, I've been looking for it with someone Phil Newton, who you know, and we've been looking for it a couple of times, but no. And I've taken my friends, and we can't find it, and just a complete nightmare.
It's a
But
shame.
you do really well to find these places anyway. I've got a question from Wayne. Well, I can't find half. Well, it's two I can't find anyway. So Wayne, I've one asking everyone I talk to, and the opinion is coming back fairly positive. Do you feel that the stigma and prejudice towards people that have paranormal experiences is getting less?
Yes, I do. I think more people are experiencing more paranormal phenomena in the world. I
Yeah,
do. I think I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's a shift in energies. I don't know if we're just more curious as people as the generations have gone on. But I do, yes. More people believe in the paranormal than I think we we think. Even though
yeah,
they might not particularly pay an interest in it, then they might still believe that there's something more
so
out
yeah,
there.
that's right.
I think more people are having experiences.
And I think probably because of TV shows, they're more willing to mention it as well.
Yes, because it's more of an open topic
Yeah,
nowadays, isn't it? I mean, you've gone from the church where they demonized it to, the Victorians,
do
they
the same.
thrived in it, but
Yeah,
then
that's
they got
right.
proven to be fraud, so then that casted a shadow over it.
Yeah,
And then you're coming back to the church and they probably demonized it again. And then I think now we're a more diverse world where we're more open to the possibility that, and we're more willing to explore avenues
yeah.
because we're not having to follow a set way. We all can kind of follow our own way.
Oh, I think we've got a visitor. Fingers crossed.
Ooh, here she is.
Hello! Hey!
Hello.
You
I'm
made
back.
it! What were
You're
you
Sorry.
looking
following?
like Zach Bacon's there with your glasses. Zach Bacon's wife over there.
There we go.
Just wondered if you were following Charlene's directions. We've getting lost a few times.
Yeah, we should never follow Charlene's directions.
Mine.
Oh dear, who's the worst? Who's the worst at directions?
Amen.
No,
Great to meet you anyway, Amy.
nice to meet you, Jacqueline. All right.
Yeah, but you've had a nightmare.
But yeah, just a bit. Yeah.
Thank you for persisting.
I couldn't message you back because it would have clicked off and then Jackie would have had out hell on.
Well,
Yeah.
that's why I messaged you because I thought she'll definitely see it.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
seen it.
I'm afraid in head. Hang on.
Christmas tree looks nice in the back there, Amy.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. I like
It
that.
does.
Brilliant.
My little Christmas tree. That Melissa keeps
Okay.
nicking the baubles and moving them though. Thinking I'm not her too.
Oh well. Okay, a few shout outs then. We've got Donna Fuller. Big hello, Donna Fuller. I've got Charles Rudd. Hi, Chantal Raidman. Leanne Watson. I've got a question here from Charles Rudd then. So, have you investigated when Spirit Guide told you not to? Shall I start with Charlene first and then Amy on that one?
Have you investigated when Spirit Guide told you not to? I don't actually communicate as such with a spirit guide
Yeah.
as some may. Some may say I'm a medium, some may just say I'm nothing. I say I'm a sensitive. That's what I say. And I haven't connected, I would say, with a spirit guide as such. I may have, I'm not entirely sure, but it's not something that I go to say, is this safe for me to be here? I normally go on feelings and gut feelings. So if we go to a place and I'll still explore it, we'll still explore it, won't we?
Yeah.
But sometimes I say, right, we need to end this now. We need to wrap it up.
Yeah.
I don't.
I kind of, yeah. Amy's got no stop.
No.
Oh, I'm like that. Switch fear off and just go for it.
Yeah, yeah.
So, what about you then, Amy? Have you investigated when Spirit Guide told you not to?
My answer's pretty much the same as Charlene's. I've never, I don't know, introduced myself to my spirit guide. I've always wanted to, but I've never really known how. So I go on
Yeah.
what my gut feels like, and if my gut tells me I don't like somewhere, then I know that there's something there. So we were saying just last night, when my gut says, "Oh no, don't go there," you go there because you know that your body's telling you, it's warning you of danger. So go for it.
That's brilliant. Do you get more activity then when you go for it? You probably
Yeah.
shouldn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say that when we've followed our gut or just gone, oh, I wonder what's down here, which is when we usually find stuff
Mm.
that we never set out to find, but it turns out to be one of the best investigations we've ever done, stuff like
Mhm.
that. So we
Mhm.
always tend to follow our gut feelings now.
Oh, wow. That's brilliant. A quick shout out to Pat then. Hiya. Thanks for joining
Hi,
us.
Pat.
Well, I've asked Charlene where it all started for Charlene with the paranormal. So, when
Yeah.
was your first idea that there's something happening around you or first
I've always
encounter?
known, I can't remember a time when it sort of like just popped out. Like I've
Oh, wow.
always known that there was something more. And I used to suffer with what they called night terrors when I was a child, and it stopped
Yeah.
when I was about 8. And when I was, I'd say 15, I was in my teens. I was awake, but my eyes were closed, and I opened my eyes, and there was this man sat on my bed. And
Oh,
he was
wow.
just like, I just want to let you know that everything's all right. Please tell everybody that I'm okay and stuff like that. And I was just thinking, I have no idea who you are. But he had the bluest eyes I've ever seen in my life. That's the
Wow.
only thing that I really remember about his face. That and his shirt, I remember that. But
Yeah.
yeah, but I've always
But
known, always.
wasn't that your uncle?
My mum thinks so, yeah. After my descriptions of him, my mum
Yeah.
definitely seems to think so, but his eyes were so blue.
Oh,
And
wow.
he like I have seen a picture of him. I said to my mum that day, I know that I'd seen him. I said, I've seen a picture of him before. And I went down to my nan's, got all the books out and everything, but no, couldn't find him.
Oh,
But my mum
wow.
seemed to think it was my uncle, yeah. But I never
Oh,
met
no.
him. So yeah, it was
And
interesting.
thank you, Pat. It's very nice for you to say that. And Pat is probably, you don't get many people nowadays that actually come to you for advice to learn, do you? You don't. And Pat is one of them investigators that will
Oh,
ask a load of
wow.
questions, and she's really, really interested in learning. And I think that's a
That's
really, really good
brilliant.
trait.
It
And not a
is.
lot of not what you see nowadays. People are in this more for fame and fortune, and they don't really care how equipment works, do they? As long as
No.
it beeps.
Or they
As long
just
as
see
it
someone
beeps.
else use it, think, oh yeah, let's do this. Oh, flashy light. I'm doing a live stream.
Yeah.
Oh, look, the light's flashing. You
They don't
go.
give no alternatives. As long as it beeps and it looks
Oh
like it's a
yeah,
ghost, triggering it off,
yeah.
that's all that matters,
That's
That's
it,
all that
yeah.
matters.
As long as there's some footage of something flashing, it's all right, isn't it? No,
Yeah. But
no.
no, Pat is one of the ladies that I think, she is willing to learn, and I think that's good.
It
It
is.
shows a good trait in people, especially nowadays.
Yeah, that's right. It takes what ages to learn, doesn't it? And then
But
you get
we're still learning.
exactly. It's just never ending. But
Mm,
you just, someone sees different type of kit. You think, well, how does that work? And
mm,
you ask all the questions about it just to see if you can debunk it. Really, because if
mm,
somebody says, "Oh, I've got this new EMF meter," it's like, well, I don't know that. How does it
mm,
work? Something flashing on a table don't mean anything to me.
mm.
Just want to know
Yeah.
more, don't you?
I must admit, I think this year we've took a back to basics
Approach.
approach. I think one of the Are You Haunted is probably where I'd watched and thought, do you know what? They're right. We do need a
Yeah,
back to basic approach. We were using too many gadgets. We were using too many apps. I think it was taking off what was going off in the environment. We kind of stripped it back, and at first it was hard, wasn't it, Amy? It felt like we was pulling teeth a bit, you know, because we was used to all this equipment. We relied on all this equipment. But now, if you gave it me back and said use it, I'd be
I
like,
don't like it.
no, I don't want to.
That's
I don't want
right.
to. No, because
We
the
had
app.
somebody last night, didn't we? That they said somebody last night suggested to use an app, and we were both like, no.
No.
You know, it's almost like nothing to us now to use it.
Yeah.
Because we came to the point where our whole investigation was app based the whole night. And I know some people do that, and that's fine. But for us, and I think it was Simon really that said to me, you know, because Simon's got experiences that he had in his old house, and he said, you know, I really don't think that they need an app to communicate. Really, you just give them the tools that you're doing, and I think they'll show that if it's generally altered, they'll show themselves whichever way that they can. So I kind of stripped it back a little bit for him as well, I think, and said, right, well, we'll knock the apps on the head a little bit anyway. And then I think we have got better evidence since we have. Less explainable, I would say.
Yes.
Far and few between, admittedly, you know. But that's how it goes. But
right.
the evidence that we have had, I think, is, I don't know, it's been more physical in a physical sense, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's it. I sort of take loads of devices and things, but I don't actually use them. They're just in my bag. And then like, I'm going to Hudson Antiques, and I'll go, and then some spirit will affect me, and it's like, oh, it's cool, you know, and you're just trying to communicate that way. But do you find that you pick up more because you've been out on the field a lot?
Yeah, I feel like I'm a lot more open than I have ever been.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think there was a period where I'd stopped being open for a few years. Kind of like when I did events, I was open, and then I'd gone to not being so open. I closed myself off a little bit, and then doing this on my own, I've become more open, you know.
Yeah.
Really come out myself in a way. But kind of saying, you know, this is what I'm feeling, but I'm not saying it's 100% that that's what's happened. I'm just saying what I feel, and then if historical evidence can back that up, then great, you know. And that's the kind of how I go, really.
That's cool. What about you, Amy?
I didn't hear the question.
So we're going out exploring and doing investigations. Do you find you're more open now?
I don't know. Like psychically open.
Yes.
I don't know. I always say that I call it my intuition. I always say I'm always very reluctant to say I've actually, you know.
Yeah.
But I do. I often do go, oh, I feel like this has happened, or I feel this and I feel that. So I suppose so, yeah. But it's just like sort of letting myself not be comfortable with it.
It's having the confidence to say it. I've always said this to you and Tim. It's having the confidence to say it. Because if you don't say it and something happens and you think, do you know what? God, I wish I'd said that.
Yeah, because you go, oh, I knew that. And then, well, it's too late then, isn't it? Because
you've not said it. So just say it. If you feel it, just say it. It don't matter if it's wrong.
Thing.
It is. It really, really is.
I think it's because so many of the investigators that we see on Facebook now are all of a sudden mediums. So I am very reluctant to bring that in, you know, and I think that stops me a lot because I don't want to be like, do you know what I mean? We're investigators. That is what we are. So, but that puts me off because, you know, somebody joins a team and then in the next week, the bloody mediums. Tell me how that happened.
Yeah, exactly.
they're touched by the hand of God all of a sudden. So
Yeah.
sorry, I'll stop. But yeah, that's the reason I don't really like to come out with stuff as often.
Yeah, I totally get you, because it's easy for a person to give themselves a label,
Yes.
and you can label yourself anything or say what you like, can't you? Really? And yeah,
I'll back Charlene any day. I'll back her because you know, she said stuff and it's absolutely bob on. But I've
yeah,
witnessed that, you know,
that's
and
right.
so I'll back her 100%. But anybody else, I'm probably less reluctant to believe anything.
Well, that's right. I kind of find that when you go out, it's the people around you who experience the same thing. And to anyone else, you're telling a tale, and it's whether you trust the person telling the tale, isn't it?
Exactly.
And that's how paranormal works, isn't it? Really,
Trust
unless you
has a
do
lot
get
to do with
evidence.
it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. You have to trust you have to trust the people that you're going out with because most
Yes.
of the time, the places that we go, your life is in their hands. You know,
Yeah.
like, well, not in their hands, but if something happens, they're the other person that's with you. So you've got to trust your teammates 100% in a lot of different ways. You
That's
know, there's
right. Yeah.
emotional trust, a physical trust, a mental trust, all sorts. So yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I've kind of found that I've trusted people because I sort of wasn't open. I've become more open, and then as you're like moving from being totally closed to more open, you've got loads of questions. Then you kind of trust people who are more experienced than you, and it doesn't always work out. It just goes wrong, but hey ho.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what's the scariest experience you've had then, Charlene?
Ooh.
Scariest.
Yeah.
I've never run out of a place.
No.
This is why this question's hard.
It is
Because
hard.
we've
All
always
right, change it then.
we've always
Because
stood around.
it's
Always
hard.
stood around.
We do. And it's
That's
hard
brilliant.
because if something does get my back up a little bit, we'll delve into it more.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
I love it.
I don't run away or scream.
Oh
So
no.
there's,
Damn it.
but that's how I tackle life anyway.
Yeah, that's it. Just deal with it.
Yeah, so I can't.
That's what you've gone out to do, though, isn't it? You've gone out to
Yeah.
find something.
I think living people scare me more than the dead in this.
Yeah, that's right.
Because obviously we go to the darkest and places that sometimes aren't really that nice, and there might not be nice people around. And
That's
sometimes
so
you may
true.
be hearing footsteps and things, and you don't know if that is a living person or if that's spirit. I think that is the scariest, when you don't
Yeah.
know if somebody is really there or
When
if they're in
somebody says
spirit
they're
form.
looking for their BB gun and then you hear
Oh
footsteps.
yes,
Like
yes.
that's probably the night where I was like, whoa, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, you tell her what happened.
So basically we were contacted to go to this location that we'd been to before by a family member, and I do believe he was a family member because what he showed me and things, and he said, I'd like to go with you. I think you treated the investigation respectfully. I want to thank you that that you picked up on. I think it was his great granddad or something, wasn't it, Amy? He'd never met him in life, but he that researched him. So I said, great, yeah, we'll meet up with you, and we'll film it, and we'll see if we can contact your great granddad again. So he gets there and rings him, and he's in the woods, he says, and I'm just looking for my BB gun. I'm like, for you what?
Yeah.
And he's like, my BB gun, and I'm like,
Oh dear.
and now I'm not being funny, but what do you need a BB gun for on a ghost hunt? Like, are you planning on shooting us or something? He's like, oh no, just thought I'd bring it out. I'm like, okay then. So then, like, we was walking down. We were stood at this building.
Too random.
and we can hear like stuff all around us. And I said, turn around to Amy, and I went, Amy. And she went, yeah. I said, do you ever feel like you walked into a horror film? She went, yeah, right about now. Yeah, I do.
No way.
I'm like, shall we go? She's like, yeah. So like we're walking down, and I mean we can hear walking. Like I say, I mean this location is quite known for the spirits there to be walking around, but we honestly didn't know if it was the person.
Oh gosh.
He would then wouldn't answer his phone. I mean, lucky there was two of us.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
you
it.
know, he had kind of proved who he said he were. It'd be our silly fault for meeting strangers in the woods, I suppose, but it not gave me any signals
Oops.
apart from earlier in the day.
Yeah.
Earlier in the day, and I
Oh,
was
God,
at
yeah.
work.
Oh God.
Earlier in the day, I was at work and I'd missed the message, and it basically sent me a short video of them girls that was missing in
Oh.
Sheffield.
Oh no.
It sent me a flash of that video of
The news
like
flash at the bottom.
the news report. I said, see you tonight.
Oh
And
my God.
it wasn't until the next day that I'd actually came across that message and was like, I think we very much had a near miss.
Oh
Yes.
my God.
Yeah, so that was a scary experience, and obviously that involved a living person.
Yeah.
Why we was looking for spirits. So just a bit of advice, just be careful.
Especially if you've vetted the person as much as you can. Like, I've met up with people in Scotland, I've met up with loads who do the show, I've gone on my own, and I've been speaking to people for a while, and you meet up with them. And you do have this trust in the paranormal field, don't you?
Yeah.
You do to a degree, yeah.
Which generally you wouldn't. You wouldn't go and meet somebody at a dark house somewhere, would you? It's paranormal, so you do. You chatted to them on Facebook for a while, and
the thing is that I felt sorry for him because he wanted to speak to his relative, and I could understand that, and then he did kind of prove who he was, so I didn't see nothing wrong with that, and I thought, well, he's generally interested. He was on about bringing his girlfriend, and it sounded like he was genuinely interested in maybe trying to see if we can get some communication. So I put the boot on my feet basically, and thought, well, I could see why you want to go out and whatnot, but it didn't. It didn't. It could have ended worse, but it didn't.
And it's a lesson so you don't get into that situation again, or worse, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Sort of keeps you on your toes, so to speak. So there you go, Pat. Take those around.
Well, we normally have a gimbal. Because
right, okay.
The gimbal haven't got much use for filming because it just goes half an hour and it's floppy. So it's in the bag half the time. So it's like a nunchucker in the back of the bag.
Okay.
So if you need to whip it out,
yeah.
Then it's
sort out any creepy people. Great.
Yeah. But as ladies, I think we have to protect ourselves going into these dark places.
Yeah.
And
take some balls to do what you do, basically. So yeah. I've even got a problem going out in the local area. And I know it, but there's some tunnels nearby, which a lot of people with drugs and drink might hang around there. You sort of don't want to sort of walk in on them, do you?
Well, some of the guys may remember I went to a graveyard because when we had the petrol shortage,
all right, yeah.
I couldn't get over to Amy's to investigate because obviously I needed to save my petrol for work that week. so I said, well, I'm going to go to the graveyard tonight, and I'm not going to go too late, and it's quite lit up round there. I'd be all right. I thought,
Yeah.
I'll be fine. So goes up there, and I'm on the path, and I'm calling out, and doing a spirit box session. I turned round, and there's this bloke down the path, and you see him live. He's just stood there staring at me,
Oh God.
and I'm like, oh my God, there's a bloke behind me. And anyway, he like walks off into the bush, and I'm like, okay. And then he like walks back, and I sort of thought, right, I'm gonna have to go because I don't know what he's doing. I mean, he probably wondered what the hell I was doing,
Yeah.
really.
You've got
But
that as
the
well.
fact that he would have stood there like Jason out of a horror film, like
Oh,
ready to
no.
charge or something. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So I had to pack up, and I went back to my car, and it just gone. He
Oh
wasn't
my
there.
God. Where? You don't know, do you?
Yeah, shut
You
this
just
show
go-
towers on.
Oh, I love it.
Ah,
I don't know. So, what is the best evidence you've got then?
Ooh.
Something well, you've probably got loads of situations where your mind's been blown, but something
Well,
more than
are you
anything.
talking in the terms of personal
Yeah,
or
personal or when you're out.
or video footage? I think
Oh yeah,
video.
actual video footage. Yeah, something
I
like.
think best video footage we've got is at Greasley Old Hall, I would say.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Would you say,
Yeah.
Amy?
Yeah, I was thinking more in terms of when we got the EVP that went children like that
Yeah,
in the
Oh, wow.
yeah,
kiln.
yeah.
That was pretty like wow, because it was so clear, so clear. But then the other night as well, when we went to the towers, we had a proper chat with like a proper chat
We
with
did.
spirit.
Wow.
Even to
Spirit
the
box.
point, right? Even to the point, we heard a noise, so we turned the spirit box off. Yeah. And Amy, and we're trying to figure out what this noise were, and it was actually like a machine that must have been further on down the road. So we
All
debunked
right.
that and said,
Yeah.
right, that's this machine. Turns the spirit box on, and Amy says, "I'm sorry about that. That we've stopped communication." And the spirit box, no word of a lie, it responded with, "It's okay." How was
Oh
that?
my God.
Yeah,
I mean, then we
So-
carried on like
you know,
having at times it was like we were having a conversation,
yeah.
it was, that was amazing. We came away from there buzzing.
And there
Fantastic.
was walking, and we got an EVP that went he, clear as day, clear
Brilliant.
as day.
So, what spirit box do you use?
We've got an array of spirit boxes.
Right. Okay. What's your preference?
I love the Radio Shack,
Right. Okay.
the old hacked Radio Shack. I think
Yeah.
Amy's going to say the polls to come.
Yeah, I
Amy
am.
likes the polls to come.
I do. I do like the Poltercom. There's just slightly less radio, but
Yeah.
the sounds, it sounds more full. It's like more of a rounder sound than the Radio Show. But I do love the RT EVP. It is one of my favorite pieces of kit.
That's brilliant.
So because people might not know what the RTVP is, because basically that is a device that no longer sold anymore. By Gary Gelter, is it?
It's Gary. Oh, hang on. Oh no, what's his name?
I'm not sure.
Gelter.
It's something like that.
Yeah. He basically lost his daughter, and he does equipment. He was on Ghost Adventures.
Oh, bless
Probably
him. Right.
some of you may have seen it. And he obviously invented the SB7 and the SB11, and he
Right.
invented the RTEVP. So this has basically got a spirit box function on it, and it's got a recorder on it. So because he believes that EVPs are better when white noise is fed through the recorder.
Right.
So it like submits the spirit box white noise while you record.
Yes.
And we as that method has proven to have quite phenomenal EVPs come through on it, to be honest. I mean, some might just say it's the radio catches that may be within
Oh gosh.
the white
Yeah.
noise. But this, we've caught ones that are really, really relevant to what
That's it, isn't it?
we've got at the time. We
Like
really, really
children,
have.
when
Yeah.
it said children at the kiln, that was from the RTVP, and it was
Mm,
so clear, as if there was a kid just sat in the kiln talking.
mm,
Oh
It was
wow.
so
mm.
clear. It was brilliant.
Yeah, because sometimes you just like rule things out, and if they're relevant, then how much can you rule them out?
I noticed your post earlier about
Yeah,
orbs, and
that was
I have to
a tricky one, isn't
agree.
it? You don't know. Like, I'm sorry, I took a photo. It's at a public event. That's why I've got rid of the faces. And we're in Salutation Caves. Okay, there might be moisture there. There's certainly dust. But I've used that camera all night. And I took a photo, and Viv, who obviously tomorrow night, sort of said, "Do you want to come into the photo, Spirit?" And that happened. And I used a
And,
flash.
and
Discounted. Who knows?
But the thing is, this is the same with us the other night because we'd gone to a graveyard. Well, we'd done an alleyway and we'd gone to a graveyard, and I'd turned around and said, "If there's a spirit nearby, can you perform as a ball of light?" And anyway, it was I didn't notice it live at the time. I don't think any of the viewers noticed it live at the time, but there was actually like a white like light that shot up from the specific grave that was in front of
Oh,
us
yeah.
on
Yeah.
command at that point.
We was asking
So
it at that point as well, weren't we? We were asking it at that point to guide us to a grave,
to the grave it was, and
so,
to show itself in a white light around the grave, and so it did. In theory, it was a
It
response to
happened.
me,
Yeah, that's
because it
right.
happened. I mean, I have seen, and Amy, you've now seen, ain't you, white lights with
I've
your
seen.
naked eye.
It's
seen
it's
blue ones
amazing
as
when you
well.
do see that.
It's very rare, but
Yeah.
they are a thing.
Definitely.
So why couldn't you catch them on camera?
Yeah. Because I used to think that maybe a flash would obliterate a spirit light. Because
Hmm.
if you're looking in a dark place and you see this spirit light with your eyes, if a
Hmm.
flash went off, would it totally just kill it with a bright light? Not kill it, but you know what I mean?
Mm.
Just cover it so you wouldn't see it anyway.
Mm.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just all odd and random. That's why I love it.
I don't like it when people are so dismissive about orbs, about anything.
Yeah.
I don't think nobody knows enough yet to say that definitively is not an orb. Do you know what I
That's
mean?
right. Yeah.
It's not what you call a spirit because nobody knows. And the people who, but we see it all the time. People in the group,
Yeah,
people put
that's
pictures
right.
of their orbs, and we see them getting goaded and made fun of.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
I just think, are you for real? There's nothing. I don't know why people get so nasty over orbs,
Yeah.
or
It is quite an emotive subject, isn't it?
it is,
Yeah.
And
yeah,
I think it comes back to that we need to remember that we all started somewhere, and we
yeah,
all thought that little flash white light was at some point possibly a spirit, and we need to remember that that's probably where they are, where we were, all them
Yeah.
years ago. So
That's
we
right.
need to understand that. I mean, there is some pictures, and I think, yeah, that is just dust. But
Yeah.
or that's like a spider going across a lens or something,
Yeah. Good one.
But
You also need the context, don't you? I find with the
yeah,
photo, you need the context. You need the story behind it
yes,
because that would
it's
really
a
help.
and it's kind of like getting relevance to what you're asking at the time. So, like you
Yeah.
say, if you've asked them to form in a ball of light next to you or in your hand, and actually you then take a picture and that happens, and you've took pictures all night long and that's not happened on any of the rest of them, then, I think that is the story with it. And, you have good reason to believe why it could be something, really. If people want to dismiss it and debunk it in their own mind, that's fine. They wasn't there.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
were.
Look at that. What we in that whole graveyard. What we went on
Oh,
Deck
yeah.
Osborne thing for.
Mm-hmm.
We caught a mist that we
And
didn't.
anyone would say that it was cigarette smoke or vent smoke.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I'm telling you,
It looks just like cigarette smoke.
it
It's got
does.
that blue wisp in it, when it's quite thick. But not smoke that comes out of your mouth, the smoke that just comes straight from the cigarette. That's what it looks like. So, and it just moved so like snake-like across the camera lens.
Kind of just appeared in the middle and then moved across. I mean,
brilliant.
we do smoke, but we don't smoke on investigations unless we're finishing and we've had a trek and we've got lost and we're actually not doing any investigating.
You just think,
Then
let's just have a quick one.
we don't tend to smoke on camera, but we may smoke behind the camera because we're but we'll say, but when we're properly investigating, we'll never have a cigarette while, we're in depth doing it. And Dave does vape, but he was like at the other end of the graveyard, because Amy said, at that time, Dave, are you vaping? And she has to turn around, and so there was no way it came from Dave because he was that end, and this one had come from this end, so. But any skeptical person would say it's just cigarette smoke or it's just mist or this, that, and the other. But it did appear in the middle of the shot and it floated across and then it disappeared, and that is reported there.
I've seen mist at Grace Dew.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there was mist on the ground. You could see it. It's floating above the field next door. But then there's this mist which appeared right near the gate. There's a gate bit, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
And it just like headed towards it and disappeared behind it, then just obliterated. Well, it wasn't directly over field. It was over a pathway. And it looked like, I'm not saying human form, but it was like tall like a human. It would have been like 8 foot. But it was just heading towards there and just disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
And that was weird. And you can't say it. Well, no, it wasn't like the rest of it.
I just think people who are so dismissive about things like that are never going to experience anything because they're too closed to experience.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But people will what they will.
Oh, that's right. They miss out in a way.
It's like last night. We had a teddy bear knocked off a stone twice, and I begrudge clipping that down and posting it up, because I think people are just gonna look and think, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
But it happened, didn't it?
Wow.
And it did.
I was like, I wasn't like that. Charlie jumped out of her skin because she heard me go.
So I mean, I've clipped it down. It's hardly had any views, but it's like, well, it happened. You can either believe it or not.
I've seen things. Was it the first time I met you at Haunted Antiques? There's that clown upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
And the footage of that, and that fell, and everyone was going, well, one of the legs is longer than the other. Yeah, but it didn't stand up for ages. And it fell. No one was around. It wasn't vibration.
Mm-hmm.
And then something actually sort of slid off a shelf as well when we were there. And how, you don't know.
No.
And people just like discard it. Oh, yeah.
They're very, very easy to discard it. They're very,
I
very
think that was
easy.
amazing.
They do.
Just so interesting.
But they do some of us. And then there's other people out there that can do absolutely anything, and everything's believed. It's like, really?
Yeah, well, I won't have it on my laptop. My laptop seems to have an allergy to it. I won't. Oh no, I
You
can't.
know, and I just
I
think,
did stick it on for a few minutes the other day, and oh my god, I can't really comment too much, but yeah, I thought it was an Oscar performance. Oh yeah, yeah. It's So we're getting to the end of the
but
show, and
we get criticised, you know. However, do you know what? Yeah, here's a typical example for you, isn't it, Amy? We did a location called Levitt Hag, right? And we were getting really on cue responses, right?
So that as
And
well.
we had somebody in the comments, which is fair enough, and I understand why they thought this, because it was that responsive. They said that's got CB radio coming through it, and they can hear what you're saying and responding. And I went, it's not got CB radio. Even if it had CB
oh
radio coming
god,
through on it, they wouldn't be able to hear what we were saying in order
yeah,
to respond back,
yeah, you're
you
not
know?
transmitting back, yeah.
Oh, but they was adamant. They was adamant that we was faking it in some way because we was getting like really relevant replies that was to the key. And I was like, just go and watch who you normally watch, please, because
Yeah,
I can't
that's
tolerate it.
right.
Just go away. Just go away.
We
Because
Yeah.
we had that half an hour rant, didn't we? After that, we were ranting for about half an hour live
we did.
about.
I mean, and I could understand, but you know, I could understand them just asking the question, does that pick up on CB radio? You know, and I can understand
Fair
them
enough,
question, and
yeah.
we and that's fair enough. But
Yeah.
it was everything. I think the last straw was when they said we took some of the fence out because
Oh,
from I mean this place is woods, right? There was just a
okay.
metal fence up.
I
I mean
think that's
you can get into the middle of this place from all different paths. And I think
Right,
and you know, we'd gone through around this metal barrier thing, it had a few out. And they said, oh, that's convenient that them slats are out. So I'm like, Amy was like, what are you trying to
oh
say?
my
Like
god.
that we've like took the
put this
slats
up.
out?
Doing what
Yeah.
other teams do.
I know,
Do they do
well
it
this
on
is our
camera as
great.
well?
I know.
No way.
So
Oh look,
now
there's a gap in this fence. Let's just shove that out the way and we can get in it. Yeah,
when
I
we
was just
walk
okay.
like,
past it, when we walk past it now, I go, oh look, Charlene, that's that fence we put up in 1942.
Oh, fantastic.
I mean, this is public woods where people are going to take the dogs. You know,
Made a hole in
I was just like, do you know what? Just
Yeah.
Toddler.
go
Yeah,
away. Just go away.
that's
So
crazy.
I do sometimes feel like we do get a really like skeptical audience, and I don't mind that because you know they
Yeah,
are there to question.
that's
It's
right.
just unfortunate that a lot of audiences don't question others that they
Yeah,
follow to the degree. But then again, I think they're too scared to. So
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
we're more open-minded to having a discussion about it, but they
I
don't
think
on
they don't
others.
know any better. I think that some actually think that's true,
Some do, yeah.
which
Yeah.
is quite concerning. But well, it's up to them, isn't it? What their belief system is really.
We
then-
always say to whoever's watching, we say it nearly every night now, always question.
Question
Always
everything.
question. Question the people. Think about it. Think about what you're
Definitely.
doing. And research
If they block and if they're acting shady and you question them about it and they block you, that generally means because they're shady.
Yeah.
because they're fibbing.
It's because they're being shady. Shady ladies.
Definitely. A quick one then, because obviously it's about 8:00. So, what do you advise people if they're going into this?
Ooh.
So, do you advise them to go with a team on their own, or what steps should they take if they want to sort of try this for themselves?
Be careful who you make friends with, because not everyone's your friend, even though you think they are,
That's a biggie.
or
I
they
agree with that
portray
one.
themselves to be. It's not the living that, it's not the dead that will hurt you. It's generally the living.
Yeah.
And if anybody's going to hurt you on your paranormal journey, it will be the living. Most people leave the field not because of the ghosts, but because of the
Right.
people within the field. So
Yeah.
just be careful of who you associate yourself with. Stop and observe, have a look
Yeah.
how they are, before associating yourself. Just put your protective barrier up a little bit, because there isn't very nice people in the field. I mean, there's not very nice people in any parts of life, but I do find that there is some particularly nasty people in the
Oh
paranormal. And
God, yeah. It's special, isn't it? It's rife.
Absolutely. I would
Yeah.
say to people, if they wanted to go into this, is if you're going in thinking that you're going to get a TV channel at the end of it, if that's what you want, don't go into it. It's not going to
Yeah.
happen. If you're going into any other reason but the actual paranormal, that your love for it, then it's not meant for you and it won't last very long.
Yeah.
But if
Oh,
you
we
do
hope it
go into
doesn't.
it, yeah, but if you do go into it, go with a team, but make sure you trust that team wholeheartedly and make
Yeah.
sure that you build up a friendship with them. I mean, I basically just, one day I was in one team, and then next minute Charlene says, "I'll come out with me," and then that was it. She couldn't get rid of me.
Yay. Nice one. But
But
thanks
no,
so
I mean,
much.
also, read, learn about your equipment, what it does.
It's a biggie, yeah.
Don't go on one or two investigations and just think, oh, that's it. I'm ready to roll.
Yeah.
Learn all the aspects to it. So once if I go somewhere and something feels a bit negative, what do I do in that situation? I think you need to. Reading is good. I know it's not
Get
practical, but having
Yeah.
some knowledge behind you is really, really important.
Yeah, definitely.
And trying to
Look.
stick to historical facts. Go to places with historical facts.
Oh, way. Oh, beautiful.
She's got this gingerbread book.
Oh, that's lovely. I've got a little
Hi,
Bambi
Archie.
one for mine. Oh, he's sleeping, luckily. Hi, AJ Walker. Hope you're all right.
Hi, AJ.
AJ's got a brilliant team as well. They just go around doing their own thing, and that's it, isn't
Yeah,
it?
she's
It's
there.
just
Lovely AJ.
doing that. But yeah, but thanks so much for talking to us. It's been brilliant, and
Thank you for having us.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
been great.
Sorry, my dog's just parted with some wind that he didn't want. And I
Yeah, bye. Oh, but brilliant advice. Mine's asleep up here on the settee. Oh no, yeah. Okay, but cheers so much anyway, and look after yourself. And yeah, I'll share to my page anyway when you're out and about.
Thank you
yeah.
very much, Jackie, and look after yourself and keep doing what you're doing.
It's just meandering and floating about. Yay! So yeah, I've got a trust issue, but it happens.
Haven't we
But
all?
yeah, that's right. But thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for all the questions, and look after yourself, everybody. Have a good Christmas. See you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.